Rock and roll.
So we're audio. Live from the Tone Lounge at the Institute of Tone Science in downtown Greensboro, Megatone Amps presents the Talk of Teronus with Wezo and Drave, featuring Chuck Cotton and the Talk of Teronus Rimshot Band. Tonight's special guest, Scott Sawyer. So now, ladies and gentlemen, and Meldavians everywhere, Wezo and Drave.
Welcome to Talk of Teronus with Wezo and Drave. I'm Wezo.
And I'm Drave.
Of course you are.
And we've got a great show tonight. We have the fabulous Scott Sawyer who's going to come up and be
Man,
our
he
guest
is
later
awesome.
on.
He is an awesome guitar player.
He is great. He's like a North Carolina, not an institution. That makes it sound like he's real old. He's not that old. He's like a North Carolina.
I think he's a little older than I am. So he is an institution.
He's an institute. The Scott
He
Sawyer
is.
Institute of Guitar in North
Scott
Carolina.
Sawyer Institute.
And we're lucky to have him. And I know
I've been
I was
listening
talking
to
to
him for years.
your guitar player, Brian Smith, is a big fan.
Right.
The guitar player in one of your groups, Blues World Order, is a
Right.
big fan of Scott. So I was talking to him the other day. And
Well,
he
you
told-
know what?
he
Most
told me
guitar players in North Carolina are big fans of Scott.
that's why he's an institute.
Yeah. Yes.
But Brian was telling me you guys are working on a new album, Blues World Order. And you haven't
We
done
are.
it right.
We're kind of going to stretch this thing out and just take as long as we want to do it. It'll be our second CD. It'll actually be a
The
CD
idea of
CD.
you taking a long time to do something is just like
I know.
that never
It
crossed my
boggles
mind.
your mind.
I know.
Boggles your mind.
That's incredible.
You know, my mom said the same thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
You probably weren't an easy birth for her, were you?
I was pretty easy.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know, let's not get
Okay.
into my birth.
Okay.
Let's bring on our special guest, Scott Sawyer.
Okay, so we'll look forward to hearing the Blues World Order album when it comes out, when you guys finish.
Oh,
with it.
sure.
In the meantime, we'll be back in a few minutes with our special guest, Scott Sawyer.
All right, welcome back with our next segment. And we've got special musical guest Scott Sawyer with us, guitar player extraordinaire, and he's a pleasure to play with.
He's an institute.
He's an institute and a hell of a nice guy. And he's got a great dog. What's your dog's name? Dominic?
Dominic.
He's a great dog. I've never met him. I know I'm going to love him. I've seen pictures of him. Great dog.
He's been here.
Yeah, I know he's been hanging. I've seen him on the couch.
That's right.
But let's get into something real quick. I know that you're a guitar player and you play an awful lot of gigs during the year with an awful lot of people. But do you have a day gig?
I'm fortunate to have a couple of day gigs. I'm actually the lecturer of jazz guitar
Oh my God!
at UNC Chapel Hill. And I'm
Okay.
also a teaching instructor in the School of Music at East Carolina University, where I teach
Pretty
applied
prestigious.
jazz guitar, and I teach a class
You
called
teach jazz guitar?
jazz guitar, and I teach a class called Jazz Chamber, which is basically small groups that come in and work on music, and I basically coach them and help them with the
Cool.
music.
So you're seeing these young upstarts come up and develop into really cool musicians,
Hopefully.
and you get to mold them a little bit.
I get to influence them a
Oh,
little
well,
bit.
good.
I'm not sure you can teach anybody how to really play music. You can instruct them.
Yeah,
They have to
it's a
teach
feel.
themselves.
I have to agree with you.
I'm also teach group classes or instruct group classes at the Durham Jazz Workshop,
Oh, no
which
kidding.
is a
Oh.
new venue and nonprofit over in Durham.
Yeah, no, I've been hearing about that.
Dave
that
Finucane and his wife
initiative.
Valerie opened that up, and it's
Okay.
wonderful.
And what's their main focus? To present concerts, or do they have lessons
Well,
and concerts?
they like during the week they do lessons. They have high school, youth groups. They have adult combos for people that
Cool.
that want to play music but who have day jobs and just do it for fun. And then
Right.
they have like group classes in improvisation and guitar and saxophone. And
Well, that sounds
And
like
it's a
you're
concert
doing
venue.
a great thing for the community.
they're trying to. I think teaching is a good way to give back. I'm sure Dr.Drave would agree with that.
I would.
Yeah.
You said David Finucane?
David
How do you
Finucane.
pronounce
It's
his?
Finucane.
David Finucane.
Yeah.
is the one who starts
Yeah.
his Durham
Wonderful,
workshop. And you've,
wonderful tenor saxophonist.
You've recorded with him recently, I believe, right?
He's featured on my new album Dreamers.
Yeah, which we heard, and we had a special hearing of that, right?
Yeah,
here
we got
in
to
this
listen to
room.
that
You had a
when it
pre-release
first came
hearing,
in.
And
yeah.
it's
That's
awesome.
exactly right. Let's
Awesome
talk a
to
little
see.
bit about that for a second.
A former student of mine who's a longtime friend and a really brilliant recording engineer and producer, Jason Richmond, approached me a couple of years ago saying that he's been a fan. He's heard a lot of recordings
Oh, cool.
I've done, but he didn't feel like I had a record out as a leader that really captured everything.
Your thing. Yeah.
And so he wanted to do a record, and
Oh, good.
so we raised some money on Kickstarter. We ran a Kickstarter and raised a little over $10,000, and we were
Great.
able to make a nice record.
And everybody got paid.
Everybody got paid a little
Great,
bit, not
great.
enough.
Well,
Nobody ever gets paid.
Nobody
enough.
ever gets
Yeah.
paid enough.
But Ron Brendel played bass.
He's a great bass player.
And
I love
I've
him.
known Ron for 25 years. Let's see. On drums was Brian Sullivan.
I know him.
And Bruce Pioff was a guest. He
Bruce
wrote
Pioff
he
is
wrote
awesome.
a beautiful poem about Dakota Joe that we did.
Now let's just kick back just a second. Let's go. Dakota Joe. Now he was a staple in Greensboro, North Carolina, during the '70s and early '80s.
Yep. Joe was one of the first people I met. Joe and Billy Ransom Hobbs were
Yeah.
two of the first people I met.
They're
when
both
I started
gone.
hanging out
Rest
on
in
State Street.
peace.
That's right. Played a lot of music with both of them.
Well, you played music with all those guys and Cliff Greason, the fabulous drummer from
Max Drake.
Max Drave,
Yeah.
Handsome Al Heckle.
One
Hello.
of my friends, yeah.
So you have played with pretty much the cream of the crop of this, probably the best musicians that ever were to come out of this area.
Greensboro back in the mid and late 70s, that's when I got here. I think it had an incredibly vibrant music scene.
Well, I grew up
Did you
in
ever play at
Winston.
Fridays?
Yeah,
Did you?
I played in a band called Dark Door.
You know,
I played
there's someone I know who's doing a documentary for part of his master's degree
Really?
on Fridays,
that's
and I will
crazy.
have him look you up and ask you some questions
Sure.
about that.
But
Yeah,
the other
Fridays
can
was
I
like
just-
on Tate Street, and Tate
Yeah.
Street back then was kind of like the Greenwich Village of
It was
Greensboro.
amazing.
It
I want to
was.
mention two other people that were on Dreamers because they're the two
Oh, please do.
probably most famous people. Is Tony Williamson, who's
Oh
an
my God!
amazing
Man.
North Carolina mandolin
Yeah.
legend, and then Kate McGarry, who was a brilliant singer. She's a guest.
Well,
And,
you have managed to surround yourself with all these fabulous musicians, and coming up in this area like I did. I mean, you and I have been very lucky in our age group
Mhm.
to have come up in a time in this area where there was just oodles and oodles of fantastic, talented people coming out of the woodwork around here.
There's
still
something in
are.
the water in Greensboro as far as music goes, I think. I mean, the musicians that I know from here, everybody seems to have an original take on things. It's
Right.
not a lot of cookie cutter bullshit that
there's
I've
not.
heard that's come out of here. The record I did with Dave, the Maldavians,
Yeah.
with Mr.
Oh
Reeves,
yeah.
that's a really cool project, and I'm still hoping that we can play in front of more people with that.
I've seen the Maldavians in concert, and in fact I played a couple gigs with a variation.
You're kind of an honorary Maldavian.
Well, and those Maldavians, they're all just cream of the crop, best of the best, as far as I know. I mean, and I really enjoyed playing.
But you know
with
what?
all you guys.
If you can't have the Maldavians, you know what the next best thing is?
What's that?
To have Scott Sawyer sit in with the Talk of Teronus Rimshot Band. And we're going to do that coming up just a minute. You want to play some with us, Scott?
I'd love to.
Okay.
All right.
We'll be back in just a few minutes with Scott Sawyer.
And now, Scott Sawyer.
1, 2, 3.
She said, come on, you daddy. Yeah, when you get your steak, potatoes and cheese. Let's take that time. Ow! Yeah. We'd like to thank our musical guest, Scott Sawyer, sitting in with the band tonight and every night in the last couple nights. Roger Coors. Dr.Drave.
I'm Dr. Drave. Chuck Cotton and the Talk Of Teronus One Rimshot Band featuring Chuck Cotton.
Dale Leslie and the Megatone Institute of Tone Science.
And the Collaborative, Chris Ferris and Melanie Watson. And remember, it's all about us.